Hello, my name's Paul Greaves and I'm the Project Manager working for Waits Living Space in partnership with Wolverhampton Homes here on the Chetton Green project. The demonstration today will hopefully inform you, the leaseholders and tenants, in more detail of the works we will be carrying out within your property. The model, the scale model you see here today, was created by myself. And it was created to hopefully demonstrate to you how the works will be carried out. One of the important messages we need you to take away with you today, ladies and gentlemen, is help us to help you. We need your help for us all to be successful when delivering the soil and vent replacement programme. This model represents 3 stories through one of the blocks at Chetton Green. As you can see in the model, that running through the centre of the building are 2 service cores. Both of those have a copper soil pipe, as indicated here, and the grey plastic pipe represents a metal rainwater pipe that runs right through the building and to the roof. The copper soil pipe also runs right through the building and to the roof. These 2 pipes are hidden behind a wall within your bathroom, and in a few minutes I will be taking this model apart to show you in more detail of the works we need to do to replace the copper soil pipe that runs behind this wall in your bathroom. I'm now going to take the model apart, ladies and gentlemen, and trust me, this model comes apart a lot easier than your building, so don't worry about it. So I'm just taking it apart to show you in more detail the inside of your property. So we've just taken the roof off. That's come off nice and easy. We'll come back to those bits later. And we're now taking off the next floor. Now, as you can see, we have the inside of your bathroom. We've now removed the upper floors to clearly show you what your bathroom layout looks like. And as you'll see within the bathroom, this is the wall that we're replacing. Behind here is the copper soil pipe, which we need to get to replace with a new UPVC one. But to get to it, there are certain activities we need to do. As you can see from the model, the works we'll be carrying out not only affect you, but also affect your neighbour, because the 2 pipes are actually servicing both flats back to back. So this wall represents the same wall as in your property, as in your neighbour's property. Rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, before any of this work commences, you will be well informed of the process, and there will be a countdown procedure of a minimum of 21 days notifying you of when this work needs to be carried out. We'll explain this in more detail at the end of this presentation. One of the first things we have to do to enable us to remove the wall that's concealing the pipe that we're due to replace is to remove what we call any soft fixtures and fittings. These actually represent, as in this model, any cupboards or shelves or mirrors that will prevent us on the day that we need to remove this wall from gaining access. So we'll make arrangements with you to come into your property the day before to remove what we call the soft furnishings. I will now remove the soft furnishings. These will be set aside within your property and we will refit them when the works are complete. So now, the day after, we're moving forward to the day where we need to gain access to remove this blockwork wall and any asbestos containing materials that are behind the wall. This is the only day, ladies and gentlemen, where we ask you to be out of your property while we carry out this essential works. And as will be explained at the end of the video, arrangements will be made for you to be out of your property with our tenant liaison officers well in advance of the day we need to gain access. On the day we need to gain access and you've vacated your property, the next operation we will carry out is to remove the wash hand basin that's in front of this wall. Hopefully yours is not held on by Velcro, as in my model, but rest assured we will remove this and we'll set this aside within your property. This now gives the team who are removing this wall with the asbestos that's contained behind it in a controlled environment. A tented environment will be set up in your bathroom to control any dust emissions, and in a controlled manner we will remove entirety this blockwork wall. This is the blockwork wall coming out, and we'll set that aside. That's going to be disposed of. As you can see, it opens up the copper soil pipe and the rainwater pipe. But as I'm demonstrating now, we'll also be doing the same operation in your neighbour's flat. So this wall will also be removed. As you can see, we'll be working in two properties back to back simultaneously with the two crews that are removing the walls and the asbestos. But one of the other things that we've got to remove to enable us to replace this copper soil pipe is the concrete that is wrapped around both the rainwater pipe and the copper soil and vent pipe. At this stage, on day one, we will be sealing the concrete. We call it encapsulating it, but it's sealing the concrete. We won't be removing the concrete at this stage. However, once the asbestos and the walls have been removed and the analyst that we bring in issues us with what we call a clean air certificate, we now have the next important phase of the day one operation, and I will now explain that next important phase. The final operation that we complete on day one is an important phase of the works. This is the replacement of the existing concrete wall that we've removed for a temporary firewall. This, ladies and gentlemen, represents that temporary firewall. Once the analyst has issued us with the clean air certificate, we're now ready for the final operation on day one. The firewall will be put in place within your bathroom, as demonstrated here, and will be fixed solidly back to the existing structure. The same operation will also take place in your neighbour's property. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we have maintained the fire integrity of your bathroom and your neighbour's bathroom. The good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that once the firewall has been replaced, you will have full use of your bathroom facilities again, except for the wash hand basin that we've removed and set aside ready so that we can start the works early tomorrow morning on the next phase of the soil pipe replacement works. We have now arrived at day two in the sequence of replacing the copper soil and vent pipe, and this will require us to remove the temporary firewalls to gain access to the pipe and to break out the concrete that's surrounding the pipe, which I showed you earlier. So now we're in a position to remove the temporary firewalls to gain access to the copper soil pipe that's been replaced. So I'm now just removing these walls. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we carry out this work simultaneously in your neighbour's property. So there's the temporary firewalls removed. We set those aside because we'll need those later. And here, this represents the concrete that is encapsulating or surrounding the copper pipe and the soil stack. And also the rainwater pipe, We are now removing, I'm demonstrating, we're removing the concrete. Put that set aside, that's being broken out and taken out. And likewise this side. It comes out. Yeah, it's come out. So that's all the concrete's removed from around the pipe. So we're now in a position to replace this section of copper pipe that's running in your bathroom. I'm going to demonstrate that now by removing the copper pipe. So the copper pipe is removed. And we replace it with a plastic pipe. This, ladies and gentlemen, represents the new UPVC plastic pipe that runs through your property. We will have to gain access into your property twice. We will need to gain access to replace the pipe that runs through your property, but because the joint of the pipe is below the ceiling line of the property below, we'll also need to get into that property while we carry out your works. This is really important, ladies and gentlemen, that you remember that we need to get into your property twice to replace the copper soil pipe. Now at the position where the new plastic soil and vent pipe goes through your property through the hole in the floor. Now if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, previously this was surrounded by concrete and we have to break that concrete out to free the pipes up to enable us to put the new pipe in. At this stage on day 2, we need to replace the fire properties of that concrete. We do this with temporary fire stopping. This model, or this part of the model, represents in green that temporary fire stopping. And rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, your soil pipe won't move us around as much as my model. But I hope this clearly demonstrates that at the end of that evening, one of the operations we have to do is to put the temporary fire stopping within that void that passes through the floor. There we are. The temporary fire stopping is in place, represented by green. And then we're in a position that evening to replace the firewalls again. So on the end of day 2, as the works are complete, we replace the firewall to your property. And as I've demonstrated before, the work is also being carried out simultaneously in your neighbour's property. So we now arrived at the end of day 2, where we've replaced the old copper soil pipe with a new one. We've retained the fire integrity of both properties with the temporary firewalls, and still the sink has not been replaced, but you will have full use of the bathroom except for the wash and basin. That now concludes all the operations for day 2. The good news now, ladies and gentlemen, we've now arrived at day 3 of the sequence of works to replace the copper soil pipe. We're now in a position to remove the temporary firewalls, to put the permanent fire stopping around the pipes, and to start reinstating your bathroom. In a second, I'll demonstrate that sequence of works of how we remove the firewall and how we put the bathroom wall back for you. So the bathroom reinstatement works on day 3 now take place. The first operation is to remove the temporary firewalls. That's the last time we'll be using those in your property and your neighbour's property. And as I demonstrated before, in green is the temporary fire stopping. This will now be removed and will be made permanent. This will be permanently fire stopped and certified and signed off that everything is correct. We're now in a position then to replace the walls that used to be in blockwork that surrounded the pipe. The new walls, ladies and gentlemen, will be made out of a timber framework with a fire retardant material covering the faces, and the access hatches indicated here will be introduced back into the wall so we can gain access to the soil pipe in the future. And we'll also be doing again the same operations in your neighbour's property. We're now in a position to reinstate your bathroom and to put back any fixtures and fittings, or soft furnishings as we refer to them, back onto your bathroom walls. So I'll demonstrate that here by putting that one back. That represents any of your fixtures and fittings going back. We'll also replace the wash hand basin that we temporarily removed during day 1 and day 2. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, we're now in a position to reinstate your bathroom. Dependent on the scope of works that's been previously agreed and in consultation with our tenant liaison officers, this work could take anything from 24 hours to maybe even a week, dependent on that scope of works. I hope the model that I've built and the demonstration helps you to understand in more detail the complexity of the works that's required to replace the soil and vent pipe within your property. I think the key message that we're trying to get over today and in this presentation is help us to help you. For us all to be successful, we need your help. We need you to meet appointments when they are made, and we need you to inform us if those appointments are likely to change. It's really important that you realise that to carry out this work affects not only your property, it affects your neighbour's property, both above you and below you. As the model has demonstrated, it is a real complex operation. Help us to help you. Thank you for your time.